Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fresno Dynasty League podcast.
Double effing Dynasty podcast.
Right, 2015 edition.
We're back.
Coming at you. Hardcore.
This is going to be a hardcore.
Yeah, a lot more hardcore than last year.
Yeah, we're going to start with 4 weeks, and each week we're going to do a different division. And
we're going to break down each of the 4 teams.
An in-depth look into each division.
At our fantasy analysis of each individual team. This week, we're starting with the AFC West.
AFC West.
The newly put together AFC West. I like that our divisions are rotating.
Yeah. We shifted our divisions, I think, according to how people had finished, right? Is that how you rearranged it?
Yeah, it was just, based on the standings, the records of the previous season.
Yep.
So, obviously, 1, 5, 9, and 13 should all be in the same division, which I think is this one. Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. I forgot exactly how I did it. Like, this one's... Oh, that's right. See, yeah, that's all right. There's no perfect way to do it, but... For example, like, this division ended up being the 1st, 8th, 9th, and 14th.
Yeah.
As far as overall ranking. But where they actually finished with postseason and everything, it was 1st, 5th, 9th, and 13th. Anyways, yep, so first team up to bat is the Santa Cruz Red Carpet Car Wash. Get to kick it off with one of our less active owners when it comes to trades.
Yeah.
And maybe other things.
Chills. Don't do anything.
So we're going to break this down by categories. Basically, we have, since we're so optimistic, our first category is biggest blow to the roster. So we both may have interpreted that the same or differently.
Different, yeah.
I interpreted that as the worst thing that happened from last year to this year, that towards that team and what their just basically the biggest hurdle that happened.
Yeah.
Whether that's losing a player switching teams, or whatever that might be.
Yeah.
MVP, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
What their first 3 picks are in the draft, and what their biggest need is in that draft. Underdog to watch, so maybe, or breakout player.
Mm-hmm.
And then whether their stock is going up or down.
Yep.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah. So Santa Cruz Red Carpet Car Wash squeaked into the playoffs last season with a 6-6 record. Was 9th overall in the standings, and really ended up 5th when it was all said and done.
Yep. With playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and he wild card, right? And did he beat my team?
Yeah, he beat both of us.
So
he beat you, lost to someone, then beat me in the 5th place game.
Yeah. So not bad.
Yeah. What an asshole. I'm glad we're kicking it off with that team.
With him.
But I think I would have rather not lost to him in the wild card game. Once you're in the 5th place game, you don't really give a crap, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, he ruined any of your championship hopes.
Yep.
What happened in that? Was that like a big loss? I forgot.
I think it was. Yeah, because I might have. I think I lost like 2 games that year.
Right.
And I had a great season, and because of a division rule fiasco, I didn't get the bye, so I had to fight in the wild card spot, and I lost.
Right, you had like the 3rd best record, and the 2nd best record was in your division.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hate it when that happens.
Got knocked out. So.
Yeah. Well, better luck this year. So, Darren, biggest blow to his team from what'd you have for that?
For him, I think the biggest thing was probably Hopkins.
Losing the quarterback?
Yeah, losing the quarterback. Because who does he have now? Hoyer is potentially the starter. Don't really know who the starter is. So for me, that's kind of the biggest blow.
Yes.
He didn't really lose anybody. He was going to lose TJ, but he tagged him. So got away with that one.
See, this is why I'm glad we're doing this, because I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But my biggest blow is still, I think, a million times worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Well, his biggest blow, and it's funny because it was a big blow to him last season, but Vernon Davis was quite possibly the biggest blow to him last year and this year.
Which is cool because I didn't even remember that. I didn't even look. So I was like, that's right. He had Vernon Davis.
Right, now he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
And what's worse about that is last year you traded him, Vernon Davis, for T.Y. Hilton in a second-round pick.
Yeah.
So not only did Vernon Davis not really do crap for him last year, but then he lost him for this year, and then he doesn't have T.Y. Hilton or a second-round pick. So anyways, I thought that was his biggest blow.
Yeah, that is a big one. And I guess that's retribution, karma, that I boned him in that trade, and so therefore he boned me in the playoffs. It comes back to get you.
As long as Vernon Davis didn't beat you in the playoffs, which I highly doubt. MVP for Darren's team, I had Antonio Brown.
Okay.
But it could have gone to probably C.J. Anderson or Eddie Lacy, but I think Antonio Brown might be the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, he had a huge year. For me, it was CJ because that guy was on a tear the last 6 weeks. Probably one of the main reasons that I lost was because of CJ Anderson.
Okay, yeah.
So, he wasn't the starter, but the last 8 games he played, it was stupid.
Yeah, he took a fat dump on a lot of people's chests.
A lot of people.
Yeah. His first 3 picks in the draft are the 12th overall, the 12th in the second, and the 12th in the third.
Yeah, which shows he's not active in trading. He has all his picks intact.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's chilling.
And so his biggest need in the draft, and this goes back to his biggest blow, was his tight end.
Yeah.
Because quarterback, Matt Ryan, he's always going to be serviceable to higher ceiling.
Yeah.
And then Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, are both solid at wide receiver. He has arguably the best running backs between C.J. Anderson and Eddie Lacy.
Yeah.
And then he has Monty Ball if anything happened to C.J. Anderson. And he has Darren Sproles, who is serviceable too.
Yeah.
So, running back-wise, he's okay. I think he probably has top 3 as far as running backs go.
Yeah, that'll come in our 2015 rankings. But
yeah, I can't wait to look at our 2014 rankings.
Yeah, we're going to look back at that too, so that'll be good.
Fuck you, Nick Foles.
My biggest need, I think, was I think tight end, but then I think if you don't have one of the top 3 guys, there's a huge drop-off. So as long as you have a guy that's going to get a couple catches, you'll be fine. So for me, it was wide receiver because I think the biggest need for him is, I don't know how Hopkins is going to do with whoever plays quarterback for Houston. And I don't know if Antonio Brown will repeat that same crazy year. So that's where I feel he'd do well if he could get another good receiver.
Yeah, I can buy that. However, despite the quarterback scenario, I think DeAndre Hopkins is his underdog or player to watch this year.
Okay.
I couldn't really go with C.J. Anderson because he kind of already broke out.
Mm-hmm.
Hopkins had a good year, but I think Hopkins, regardless of who the quarterback is, I think Houston's going to be behind in a lot of games. I think they play in kind of a wild division. I can see Hopkins taking the next step. I don't know if he's going to be top 10, but, I think he could have a really good year. I think he has the tools, and he'll have the opportunity in being behind in a lot of games is kind of my thought process there. So,
yeah.
And there wasn't really anyone else outside of C.J. Anderson or Hopkins. I guess I thought about Matt Ryan, but I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, my guy, surprisingly, was Sean Lee. He was hurt last year,
yeah.
And I think he has the potential to be a top 10 linebacker. So he got him no points. I think he tore his ACL, something crazy. So for me, if that could be good, because I think linebackers are a little bit undervalued in our league, but if you have solid linebackers, that can really help you.
Yeah, so they can make up. They can make up some ground.
Yeah.
Cool. Is the stock going up or down?
I kind of felt he's going to be right around the same. I don't know if I think he might finish with a better record. I think he's going to finish second in the division and possibly sneak into the playoffs. He'll sneak into the playoffs again, somehow.
See, I put his stock as up because he actually was 6-6. So I was kind of like, do I think he'll win more than 6 games or not this year? Is more or less the way I was looking at it. And I think he will, even though Shane's team and Steven's team are both pretty good too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't do a ton of research on that, but I think his running backs are good enough and solid enough that he should win more than, or at least right at 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
But I did an up arrow. I couldn't put an even arrow if I could. I probably would have done that. Yeah, just flatlined him.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Next team, Clovis Gnomes, the sweetheart of the
darling,
the darling of our league so far through 3 years.
Yep.
Lance Roman. Didn't he win like the first? I thought he got off to. I think he
won the first 3.
Yeah, I think he's got off to sneaky good starts every year, and all of us kind of scratch our head and don't really believe it, and then it comes back crashing down to reality somehow. He finished 3-9 last year. He was not the worst team. He was not the second worst team.
No.
He was the third worst team.
Third worst team, yeah.
So 2 guys have more ground to make up than he does.
Yep.
Based off of last year's standings. Biggest blow to his team, even though he got a crap ton from me for it, but I think was Justin Forsett. I think it's going to be tough for him to get a running back that gets any sort of production, let alone what hopefully Forsett does.
Yeah.
Forsett's kind of a wild card.
Yeah, and for me, it was also running it, but it was Denard Robinson, because I think he had some good games and then got hurt, and then T.J. Yeldon got drafted ahead of him, so he's not even anything anymore.
That's true.
So, but see, this is cool because I had forgotten about Forsett, that he got rid of him somewhere.
Yeah, he traded him to me, and he got, like I said, a lot. He got Josh Gordon, which, okay, we're not going to count that as a lot.
That was a close second for me, he got Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon, Andre Holmes, which was just kind of I don't know if he's worth being excited about at all. But the big thing is he got the 3rd pick, so he could definitely flip that into something potentially better than Forsett. And then 2 4th-round picks.
Yeah.
So there'll be some guys in the 4th round worth taking a flyer on.
All right, so we're back after a quick little commercial break, potty break, and MVP of the Clovis Gnomes.
Did you do your biggest blow?
Yeah, I think I did. My biggest blow was the fact that Denard Robinson got hurt.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And, pretty good running back got drafted in the draft to probably take his spot. So
I cheated on his MVP.
Yeah, you did cheat. No, that was good though because I forgot about that. So yeah, Forsett was huge.
No. I mean, I cheated on the next category, which is MVP.
Oh, okay. What'd you put?
1.03. Whoever the 3rd pick is.
Yeah, see, I interpreted who was the best player on his team, and Blake Bortles. I think the verdict is out. He had a decent rookie year, so it was hard to find an MVP for this team.
That's why I went with the 3rd pick.
So I was like, who's the highest point scorer? Blake Bortles. All right, MVP. You're my man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bortles would be it as far as players on his roster.
Yeah.
So his picks are the 3rd pick overall, the 16th pick overall, and then he doesn't have a pick until the 4th round.
Yeah.
So he'll have 2 picks in the 1st round, 1 being the 3rd. I see a receiver in his future.
Yeah.
I just realized his biggest blow could have been also Sammy Watkins. I don't know if he was on his roster at the end of the year, but he traded him at some point.
He traded
right?
him, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Biggest need is running back.
Everything.
Right? But I went with running back. I believe you can squeak out receivers out of nowhere more easily than you can running backs in our league.
Yeah.
I think everyone in our league's adapted to the fact that you need to have at least a running back you can count on or a buttload of them that you hope work out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Running back, that's his biggest need. So
his underdog for me was Blake Bortles.
Okay.
I couldn't put him since I didn't put him as MVP, I put him as player to watch. I think Bortles. Jacksonville actually, I guess, did some things in the draft to make their line better. And Allen Robinson is going to develop another year. They drafted another wide receiver, too.
They did.
And Yeldon can catch balls out of the backfield. So, yeah. Hopefully they have a much better offensive year down in Jacksonville.
And my most exciting was Josh Gordon. Let's see if he can stay drug-free. I'm rooting for that guy.
Yeah.
So mine was a moral MVP. That I think he...
Or you mean a moral underdog?
Like, I want him to be my MVP.
Gotcha. Stock, arrow up or down?
Down. I think he's going to be last in the division. He's going to be last overall. He's kind of in rebuild mode. He really has to nail his picks, his first picks, and just not make trades. Like, just seclude himself and stay the course.
Yeah. He's in rebuild mode. I have a down arrow as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe he'll get off to a great start and just let it roll this time, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows? Fantasy football is a hell of a drug.
Yep.
So, next team is our defending champ.
I really don't even want to talk about this
champ.
team.
I know. It's the Tatooine
2 in a row.
Yeah.
2 in a row.
Yep. They did it again.
Mm-hmm.
9-3, first overall.
Yeah.
So, biggest blow.
Yeah, what'd you get?
I actually had a few things that came to mind. First thing was DeMarco Murray going to Philadelphia. But then I realized no, because he actually has Joseph Randle, so that's not really a blow to it. It is and it isn't. It'd still be better, I think, if DeMarco Murray was in Dallas for him.
Yeah.
However, the fact that he has Joseph Randle, who I think will start for Dallas, is kind of like, oh, well, that was good planning, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not as big of a blow. I also considered the fact that the Eagles also got Ryan Matthews. So I thought maybe that's going to eat into DeMarco Murray there, and it probably will. But also the Eagles will probably score a ton of points. Second year with that offense, Chip Kelly has had the freedom to do some things to get some people there, where I think DeMarco Murray is going to find the end zone plenty and get plenty of touches still. And this might extend his career having Ryan Matthews there as well, because he couldn't take that sort of punishment again, I don't think, back-to-back years.
Yeah.
So that was probably pretty smart on the Eagles side, and probably good for DeMarco Murray long-term. So couldn't go with that. My biggest blow is Jimmy Graham going to Seattle.
Yeah.
There's not really a whole lot to be upset about when you look at his team. But that could work out great. But we knew what we were probably going to get with Jimmy Graham, and I think we got the floor for him last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about as bad as he can do while being out on the field. So going over to Seattle, though, I see a lot of Marshawn Lynch running the ball, a lot of checkdowns, a lot of Russell Wilson scrambles for touchdowns.
Yeah.
I don't see them directly targeting Graham nearly as much as Drew Brees did in New Orleans. So that's my biggest blow.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Jimmy Graham. Mine, I was just looking for just making stuff up, because I was like, I don't know if he really experienced anything. Only thing I've seen is there's a little talk of when Calvin Johnson is going to drop off, and that's one of his big three. So I know he's been trying to move Calvin Johnson. So that was kind of if he ends up losing him or Calvin Johnson drops off. But yeah, I didn't even think about Jimmy Graham. Tight ends go to die in Seattle. So
yep. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
I could be completely off on that one. MVP, I still put DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, same. It's hard. Yeah, he had a great year.
Yeah, like I said, I think there are wins in the situation with him going to Philadelphia with Ryan Matthews. Like I said, he'll probably be more productive for at least a few seasons now.
Yeah.
If he had stayed in Dallas, he was going to get murdered. So
yeah.
His first three picks are second overall. He has the 9th pick in the 2nd round and the 4th pick in the 3rd round. So some pretty decent picks there.
Yeah, he made some moves to get that 2nd overall pick.
Right. As far as needs, he doesn't really have any. I just put defensive end because he doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Of course, he won't draft a defensive end 2nd.
No.
But that's just what who knows? He's just going to, who knows what he's going to do. I don't know what he'll do with the 2nd pick. I really don't.
Yeah, really no needs there. I just thought, either maybe wide receiver depth, the running back. I mean, he has an opportunity to get either one good player in the draft
Kevin
this
White
year.
or Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
I can see him doing something like that.
Yeah.
So, stock arrow has to go down because there's nowhere upwards to go. I don't think he's going to win more than 9 games this season. I do think his division got harder than his division last year. I think that he could potentially split a series with Darren and Shane. So, who knows? I forgot who his 2 out-of-conference teams that he had to play was, but if I recall correctly, they weren't exactly bottom half teams, I don't think, at least in my mind. So we'll see.
Yeah, I have him winning the division, playoffs, and probably one of the favorites to win the championship again and three-peat.
Yep.
As much as I don't want to say that.
Yep.
And
it's depressing. How have we all let this happen?
And most exciting underdog. I don't know if we talked about that yet.
No, right.
But Joseph Randle. I mean, because it looks like he's going to be the starter.
Right.
And if their O-line is as good as they say, he could possibly replicate. Who knows? Replicate what Murray did last year.
I don't think he'll do nearly as well as Murray did, and I think Dallas is not going to just feature him exclusively like they did Murray. But yeah, he definitely could be a top 10 running back.
Yeah.
Fantasy wise. So
yeah.
He's also the same thing. I have him as the up and comer or the underdog on his roster. So good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Last team in this division. Kentucky.
That's it.
So
that's
Shane
their name.
Wood. Right, Kentucky. I know. He somewhere slyly along the way got rid of the bourbon part.
Yeah.
So he finished 8th overall last season. He was 7-5. He was a expansion team. Missed the playoffs. Probably should have been in instead of Darren, but that's just how the conferences worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So he barely missed the playoffs at 7-5, and yeah. It looks like his team looks good. The thing that sucks is, like I said, in this division, I think you have 3 teams. Well, you have the best team and arguably the worst team. And then the 2 guys in the middle are probably top half teams. So it would be tough for, I think, him and Darren to both get a wild card. But could happen.
Yeah.
So I think Darren's team is just a little stronger as it stands right now. So we'll see what happens with Shane's team here.
Yeah.
Biggest blow for me, and really it's not a blow at all because of what he got for it, but looking at his roster from last season and this season, I thought about doing the whole Tom Brady getting penalized for 4 games, but I don't believe it's actually going to be 4 games. So not only that, but when Tom Brady comes back, he's going to be angry, and he's probably going to do great, the rest of the season through. So I didn't do the Tom Brady as the biggest blow, but I did Mike Evans being gone off his roster, even though he did trade Mike Evans and Tamori for Seattle Scoregasms, and in return got Tom Brady and Matt Forte, which I thought was a great trade for Shane. I think that was worth Mike Evans for him. So biggest blow losing Mike Evans, but at the same time he got 2 quality players. Who knows how much is in the tank for Forte, but probably still going to be pretty good this year.
Yeah, I had sort of the same thing. It was Mike Evans. I think that was a loss because I look at the receivers and it's not I don't think it's serviceable, and that was kind of one of those guys that could be huge in years to come, and so that's where I think Brady's kind of suspended 4 games, and he's kind of nearing the end of his career. And I think that was the biggest loss.
MVP on this team?
I don't know who the MVP is going to be on this team.
Yeah, this is kind of hard.
It's a tough one. I guess the MVP from the players he had last year was probably Mike Evans. Mike Evans had a great year.
Yeah, but
he's not there
player
anymore.
for this year, man. Who's the MVP on his roster right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tom Brady will be suspended for 4 games, but I think when he comes back, he will be pissed off, and that will in turn make a lot of points. Because I was gonna say Cutler, but Cutler just knows how to really let you down, and when you believe in him so highly.
What's nice is, even with Tom Brady suspended 4 games, Cutler normally gets off to good starts, so at least he has Cutler for 4 games.
Yeah, well, so surprisingly, looking at the stats, Cutler was not too far behind Brady when it came to fantasy points. So, yeah.
Well then,
Brady.
I think Matt Forte will still be the MVP on his roster this year. I think he has another good year left in him. So, I went with Forte.
Okay.
His first 3 picks, this is kind of crazy. 8th pick overall, 8th pick in the 2nd round, and then he doesn't have a pick until the 6th round. So he has 2 picks in the top 24, and then
nothing.
And then nothing for a long time.
Yeah.
But he does have a lot of players on his team.
Yeah. Pretty full roster.
So his biggest need, in my mind, is a wide receiver. So he did lose Mike Evans, but he, like I said, he flipped it for help in other areas. But I think wide receiver is probably going to be the spot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he needs to draft a wide receiver. And this year's class seems to be pretty good, just from what I hear and what I've been reading, that there could be some guys that could surprise. Not as good as last year, clearly, but yeah, I think he goes wide receiver.
Yeah. Underdog on his team?
Bishop Sankey.
Yeah, that's what I did.
He was kind of one of those guys everybody was high on. He was I think he was kind of like the Tavon Austin of last year. That's what we need to name. We need to come up with an award, like the Tavon Austin Award.
Except he drafted Sankey, and Sankey's still on his roster, so good for him, because Tavon Austin was on like 15 different rosters after he got drafted.
Was he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I had him at one point. Darren had him at one point. You had him at one point. I don't even know where he's at now. Whose team is he on now?
Sankey?
Yeah. No, not Sankey. No, I'm talking about Tavon Austin.
Oh, he's a free agent.
Oh, see, now he's nowhere.
Yeah.
We'll see if Bishop Sankey's nowhere next year.
Yeah.
Or if he rises to the occasion and becomes a fantasy beast.
Yeah, who he was.
Stock on this team. I don't know what I was thinking. I have an up arrow on my paper, but I want to quickly edit that to a down arrow. I don't think he can get more than 7 wins, even though his team's better, just because he's in a tough division. So, yep.
Yeah.
I think 7 wins is probably really optimistic. I don't think he'll get less than 5 either. I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 8 wins.
Yeah, I think he's trending down. Not horribly, so I don't think he's going to be one of the worst teams. I think he'll be in the top half, and but I think he'll finish like 3rd in the division. Maybe fringe playoff spot, but
yeah,
not sure.
Yeah, he might be destined for mediocrity for a little while.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Kind of like you and I.
No way. I'm on the upswing.
Yeah. Well, I guess next time we'll do whatever the other AFC division, the AFC East.
Yeah.
We'll get that on.
I don't even know who's in that division.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I forgot. We switched all the divisions, so now I'm lost.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I also want to introduce a new commissioner, which is Fuego.
That's right. I forgot I was commissioner.
Man, it's great. It's a great feeling for me over here. I haven't received a fantasy football commissioner question in like a month. It's been wonderful.
Me neither.
Yeah, see? Yeah, well, just wait, buddy. AFC East. Oh, you're in that division.
Yeah. Oh,
you, Brandon, Drew, and the other expansion team from last year.
Yeah, the dropouts.
Yep. Yep. The Belgian Red Devils, the Kettleman City Chaos, the San Joaquin Dropouts, and yours truly to the left of me.
Mexico City El Tri. But yeah, I'm excited to be commissioner and do some point shaving and stuff like that.
Good.
You know?
Good.
I'm admitting it now, so that way it's not a
Right.
surprise later. Like,
Very good.
How the heck was Fuego score 400 points every week?
Right, I felt the heat from the oven, so I got out of the kitchen. Which is the real story of why I'm not doing it anymore. No,
But it'll be good. I think our draft is August 16th from when I looked last, so that is going to be at the Tenorio residence. And we'll put out some more info soon. League cost, all that good stuff's going to come. So season
Sweet.
is close. We're
All
so
right.
close.
Well, I think that'll do it for our first podcast of 2015. A little rusty, but getting back in the flow of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to take a massive dump this entire time, so I think that's led to some anxiety.
And I'm hungry, so yeah, not for a dump.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
until next time, which is we don't know when, but
Yeah.
but you'll know.
Later.
Bye.